welcome to my studio. Today we're going to teach you how to make these fun little Christmas holly earrings. And once you have the basic material, they are so inexpensive, quick and easy, make great gifts. Let's get started. We're going to be using quick wood, which is a wood putty epoxy, and the great thing I like about quick wood, it has 30 minutes workable time. It's rock hard in an hour and you can just keep on working. The one thing though, rock hard means rock hard in your jewelry, so take all of your jewelry off. I'm going to be using some vegetable spray. Yes, Pam will work, and spray it on my hands so it doesn't stick to my hands. So this takes such a little amount. This is such an inexpensive gift or item to make. That's totally up to you. I always say kind of the hardest thing to do with quick wood is to cut such a small amount. So we just need a little piece. I'm going to put my end of my covering back on top of it, my little foil circle, and put it back in there and seal it back up. Take the plastic off. I can't tell you how many times people forget to take the plastic off. And this stores for quite a while, but if you have a little bit of crusty on the end, just remove it with your fingers and knead it. That's what makes it activate. You see the two different colors? There's your two different parts. And by kneading that together, you activate the quick wood. So we're going to knead that till it's all one solid color and it starts to get warm to the touch. So I'm going to spray my mold, and you can spray a little bit in there. We don't want too much, so a lot of times I'll just spray it on my fingers, but we want to work around the mold so it's all in there. I'm going to get the excess off the top so we don't have any oil there. And I've got my quick wood already nice and moldy. So we're going to go ahead and put our quick wood in, and because we have 3 different areas, you can't really do it in a round ball as much as you kind of can. So however you kind of want to work that, and any of that extra, just kind of pull it off with your thumb, and we'll set that aside and use it for our next earring. And I want to kind of get these guys out. As you can see, those two, we kind of separate those little guys right there so that those are separated. And we want to keep the edges kind of clean so that they're in, and so they don't have these sloppy edges when we go to pull it out here. So I think that's pretty good. So I'm going to get a piece of packing tape, and we're going to use this as our kind of our little thing to work on, and we're going to gently press this in, and we're going to pull this out. If it doesn't work, you don't like the way it looks, pop it back in, do it again. It should come out nice and easy. If it doesn't, then you know that you didn't get enough vegetable oil on it. Now see this guy right here, he's a little bit sloppy. You can clean him up a little bit with your toothpick or your knife or anything like that. Those are those edges we were talking about. Now, this is a thicker piece, so we can go ahead and work on him a little bit because we're not going to push hard or lose a lot of detail with that. If you were doing something different, you may just want to let him sit down for about 15 minutes because we're going to be using our pigment powder on these, and these are actually Pearl X, and they are wonderful to color with. I love working with this. You're going to see how fast this goes as compared to using acrylic paints. With that said, if you want to use your acrylic paints, you can use any type of acrylic paints that you prefer. Let this dry an hour and then paint it so you don't press on it and lose its shape. So that's one thing that I wanted to tell. But with the pigment powder, we want to do this while this is wet so that our powder goes on to the project that we're working on and just covers it just like that, because this is sticky and the pigment powder will go right onto it, and therefore it is very easy to color that way. I'm going to be using, my red is going to be magenta, I'm going to use emerald for my green, and then I'm going to be using some gold as well. You can use some lighter green, but I'm going to highlight with my gold. I think this time around, I do have another green in here that I'm going to highlight with. This is apple green, and I do like those. You can find these in your scrapbook section, or I do have a great supplier at bluewhalearts.com that always has that available for us as well. So they do have brushes that is just for this, or you can use any type of older brushes that you want to do as well. When you're working with it, you put it into the powder and then you pounce it into your lid, because there is so much that comes out with that. You'll just have powder going everywhere if you don't. So I'm going to start with these red berries, and I'm going to try and keep from getting onto my leaf there, my holly part, and I don't want to press down because all of these are still wet. So again, if you wanted to wait and do them later, about in 15 minutes, you can. Now these berries come down the side here, so we want to make sure that we get all of that covered on the side. And as much as you can right up to the holly. There we go. Another thing that you could do that would be really cute on these is you could kind of take some tweezers and stick in some red gemstones and have 3 little gemstones there, and that would be nice and bright and shiny. So that's something else to think about. Okay, so now I've done that, so I'm going to go ahead and start with my holly, and I'm going to do my emerald on most of it. Tap it off on my lid and come in here, and if you're more comfortable with that smaller brush up around where the berries are, then use that. You also could turn this into a necklace. You can use a eye pin and put it in the back down, or you could use a blank necklace, a necklace blank to put it on, or another idea would be to use an eye screw and put that into the quick wood as it's drying. Now, one of the most important things while we're doing this is we need to make sure that we get all of these edges. So we want to really make sure that we get these all up there. And the tape makes it nice because you can hold on to this without losing this piece. And I'm going to come in there in just a minute with my smaller brush, and I didn't hit that off, and you see all that powder that's coming out there, so that's why we want to kind of make sure that we hit it off first. So when I'm changing colors, I just rub it off on your paper towel, your hand, anything like that, and just go to the next color. It doesn't stay in very much, so I'm going to get in these really tight areas now just to give it that color. And you can see we are about done base coating. Doesn't that sure beat pulling out the acrylic paint here? This is one of my favorite things to do. I've got all types of molds that you can do to make all these earrings. Doing a bunch of Christmas and fall ones this year, so make sure you look for those. Okay, I'm going to give this a little blow, get all that powder off. And I'm going to go and I'm going to use my apple green now, and we're just going to add a little bit of reflective light here. And you can pick one side that may come on, or you may pick like all the bottom, whatever you want to do. That's kind of up to you. But see how that already gave it some dimension. And then you can come in and put just a little bit of gold to even bring that up a little bit more. Doesn't have to be a lot, just a little bit. So we've got that light. You may want that light all on top. That's probably where it should be, but that's okay. Nobody's going to be that picky for this project. Now I'm going to use micro pearl, and I love this because this almost looks like glitter to me. And we're just going to add our reflective light in our berries. Now, there is one thing that I did do with a little bit of acrylic, and you may like it and you may not. I did add just a tiny, tiny, tiny dot of white just to emphasize that highlight, and I tried to see if I liked the dark green vein done with acrylic or not. And I'm not sure on that middle part if I do. This is just kind of a smooth effect, so that's totally up to you. So you'd go ahead and do both of your earrings, and then give those an hour to dry, and then take them out and varnish them. And I use spray varnish because we've used powder. We don't want to take any of that off with a brush on. I just use inexpensive Krylon or Rust-Oleum, either one, under $4 at Walmart. And the great thing about these is once you have your basic supplies, these are so inexpensive to make. So do at least 3 sprays of it. I use satin or gloss because I want that holiday feel, that kind of sparkle. So I do the holiday kind of feel on that. And I keep them right on my little piece of tape until I am done varnishing, because it still gives me something to hold on to. Once they're done being varnished, pull them off your tape, flip them over, and find an acrylic color that matches the front of it. Do a couple of coats until you're happy with that. Go ahead and varnish that again. And then we're just going to use our earring post. And because these are bigger pieces, or a little bit heavier pieces, I'm going to use the bigger earring post. And we're going to simply glue these on with E6000. And I've got a bigger tube here. And I usually put it on with a toothpick, but this has got a bigger opening. And E6000 is that hard to glue. So you can usually find it in your craft section. If you don't, we usually have it on sale at Miriam Joy, buy one, get one free. So check it out there. I got a little bit more than I needed on that one. And I probably will use the bigger backings for these, because instead of the ones they gave me in the package, because they are a little bit better for a heavier earring. So that's just a personal preference. I want to remove all that glue. And let those dry. They'll be dry in a couple of hours, but the glue does tell you overnight. So I'm just going to let those dry for 24 hours. And then you have your little earrings. Another suggestion is, if you're a person that likes to scrapbook or make cards, these are really inexpensive to do. And you could even work it into your card so that they have the card and it's a decoration, and then it's a pair of earrings. So, you know, there's another option to do as well. Wasn't that a lot of fun? Come on over to miriamjoy.com where we have the holly molds as well as our quick wood. We're also going to be working on our little jingle bells and our poinsettia earrings as well. So there's a lot of fun things that we've got going on. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTubes and you'll be the first one to see the latest coming out. And if you like and share them, that would also help us. Thank you. Have a Merry Christmas. God bless.